Let us understand digital libraries from a business organization perspective. In this session, we are going to understand introduction to digital libraries, advantages and disadvantages of digital libraries. A business organization create and store millions of business documents. And all such business documents are very important for any business organization. And in fact, all the business documents are lifeblood for business organization. And there are several sources from where all the business documents get generated. It may be production department or sales department, marketing department, finance department, which looks after accounts also. Similarly, employees, permanent staff, temporary staff, daily wages staff, technical staff, non-technical staff, research and development activities related documents, service and support. A business organization, after selling the products, it may be offering service after sales. So, such related documents, service related documents, logistics document, suppliers, documents and manuals. Some organizations give user manuals, user guides to the customers. So such user guides or manuals and government policies or regulations which change from time to time and customers data. So in this way, these are all the sources from which a business organization, business documents get generated in case of a business organizations. So these are all the sources of business documents, and in fact, all such business documents get exchanged also among all these business partners. And when we look at exchange of business documents, two mechanisms are available. One is a traditional method of exchanging business documents, and second is EDI, that is the electronic data interchange model of exchanging business documents. If we look at a traditional method of exchanging business documents, in which paper documents are printed and paper documents are exchanged. And if we look at exchange of paper documents, it is really expensive and time consuming also. Because if a paper document is to move from one place to another place, maybe courier service is required, or maybe a post office requirement is there, or maybe a fax service is required. In this way, a paper document, if it is to move from one place to another place, courier service or post office service or fax service, or handing it over by hand, in person handing it over. So these are all the time consuming activity is there in case of a traditional method of exchanging business documents. To overcome these problems, nowadays business organizations are making use of EDI, that is electronic data interchange. The EDI is a mechanism in which the business documents are generated and get exchanged automatically. So in case of EDI, the business documents get generated in electronic format and they get exchanged among the business partners automatically, paperlessly, and almost instantaneously. That is the reason why the EDI is providing greater advantage over and above traditional document exchange. So no papers are there, electronic documents are there, instantaneously the documents get exchanged. But the summary is, in case of EDI, the documents are there in electronic format. That is the reason why nowadays business organizations are establishing digital libraries in order to store the business documents. So there are number of sources from where the business documents are generated, and all such business documents are to be exchanged among business partners, and however all such business documents are stored in one central repository, that is digital library. So digital library is a place where the business documents of all the departments, all the business partners are stored. And in fact, digital library is used for managing business documents. What does it mean, managing documents? Managing documents is nothing but creation of documents, storing, distribution, delivery, search, retrieval, browsing, viewing. So these are all the activities that are part and parcel of document management. So this is about digital library. Now let us understand what are all the advantages of digital libraries. So business organizations derive number of benefits from digital libraries. Let us understand all of them one by one. First and foremost one is search and browse facility. Because the digital library consists of all the business documents, hence the business organization provides search and browse facility, because all the documents are stored in server, and a search tool is made available for all the business partners to look for the required data or document. For this voice-based search facility, the latest one, and earlier text-based search facility. So in this way, business organizations are providing text-based search facility or voice-based search facility in order to look for the required digital resource very easily. Similarly, for all these things, an excellent graphical user interface is also provided. And the second advantage is a universal access. In case of physical libraries, people or business stakeholders need to visit the physical library. Whereas in case of digital library, no physical visits to libraries are required. All the business stakeholders, maybe from any corner of the globe, can access the digital resources from their place itself. Next advantage is no time restrictions. People can access digital resources 24 by 7 basis, round the clock, for all 365 days, no holidays, no festivals. So the digital resources can be accessed anytime. Next one, preservation and conservation. A number of preservation and conservation models are available for digital resources. That is another advantage. Next one is space. How much space is required for digital libraries? If we compare with traditional libraries, digital libraries require very less space. In such a very small space, enormous amount of information can be stored, and that too, absolutely there is no chance of any wear and tear in case of digital resources. If we look at a paper, that is a traditional libraries, we notice wear and tear. And the next advantage is value addition. The quality of digital resources can be improved using digitization. The visible flaws like stains or discoloration. This discoloration of images happens generally in case of paper documents. So such kind of discoloration or stains on images can be removed using image editing softwares. Nowadays, excellent image editing softwares are available with which the visible flaws can be removed, like stains or discoloration of images. Next advantage that we derive is replication. An exact copy of original digital resource can be created without losing any quality. If we look at paper documents, creating an exact replica, exact copy of a document or image is very difficult. Whereas in case of a digital resource, an exact copy of original document, we can say a replica of original document can be created very easily without losing any quality. Suppose that there is a video. An exact copy of that video can be created without losing any quality. An image is there. An exact copy, identical copy of that one can be created very easily without losing any quality in case of digital documents. That is another advantage. Next, it is networking. A business organization may have established multiple libraries. Maybe they may have decided to go for different digital libraries established at different locations. Then networking can be established among all such digital libraries with which the digital resources can be shared very easily. So this is another advantage. If at all there are multiple digital libraries, then using this networking, the business documents can be exchanged very easily among all the digital libraries. Next advantage is accessible for disabled. Using audio and video resources, the information can be made available to visually impaired or hearing impaired people. This is another advantage. So even though the people have the disabilities, still they can access the digital resources and they can make use of the digital resources. Next, it is a low maintenance cost. The maintenance cost of a digital library is less when compared to traditional library. Here one point. Establishing a digital library is costly, but maintenance cost is very low when compared with the traditional library. So, because we are looking at advantages, the maintenance cost, that is what we are talking about. So, it is very less in case of a digital library. So, maintenance cost of a digital libraries is very less when compared to traditional libraries. And the last advantage is data updations. The latest information can be added very easily because every day business organizations generate a number of business documents. All such newly created documents can be added, they get added to the digital library as and when they come, and similarly the obsolete or unwanted or old information can be deleted easily. So these things come under data updations. So these are all the advantages of digital libraries. Excellent search facilities, voice-based, text-based search facilities are available in order to look for the required resource. Universal access means people from any corner of the globe can access the digital resources. No time restrictions, 24 by 7 for all 365 days people can access digital resources. Number of preservation mechanisms are available with which the digital resources can be preserved. That is fourth one. And fifth one, space. Very less space is required for digital libraries and enormous amount of data can be stored. Next one is value addition. The quality of digital resources can be improved using digitization. We can remove stains, we can remove discoloration, with which we can add some quality to the digital resources. And exact replica of original document can be generated. So that is a replication without losing any quality. An exact replica of an image or a video or audio can be created without losing the quality. And next it is a networking. If at all a business organization establishes multiple digital libraries, using this networking, we can exchange the business documents among all these digital libraries. Next one, accessible for disabled. Using audio and video resources, the information can be made available to visually impaired or hearing impaired people or business stakeholders. And the next one, it is a low maintenance cost. The maintenance cost of digital libraries is less when compared to the maintenance cost of traditional libraries. And the last advantage is the data updations, in which as and when the business documents come, they can be stored easily in digital libraries, and similarly obsolete or unwanted, that is old information, can be deleted very easily. So these are all the advantages of digital libraries. Now let us understand disadvantages of digital libraries. The first and foremost one is user authentication. If a business stakeholder wants to access digital resources, such a business stakeholder has to have privileges. That is, a user ID and password must be there. Then only the business stakeholder can access the digital resources. Certainly, it is required in order to prevent misuse of digital resources or uh, data theft by the hackers. So to prevent that one only, the business organizations insist for user authentication, so that only authorized people can access the digital resources, whereby no misuse will be there and only intended people can access the resources, and there will be no problem of hackers. Next one is a high initial cost. Yes, the establishment cost of a digital library is very high, because a lot of amount is to be spent on both hardware and software, computers, servers, networking equipment. In this way, a lot of amount is to be spent on hardware. Similarly, digital library management software, that is to be purchased, or to be business organization may even go for in-house software development, but that also costs. That is the reason why the establishment of a digital library establishment cost of a digital library is really very high. Next one is bandwidth, that is data transfer rates, because the data is in multimedia format, text, audios, videos, images. So all these things require very high data transfer rates, that is high bandwidth is required. Then only the business stakeholders can access the multimedia content. And one major drawback here is, if there is no internet connection, then the entire digital library becomes inaccessible. And the next one, copyright. There may be some digital resources which may have copyright protection. For such copyright protected data, the permission needs to be taken to use the resources. However, many people violate or ignore these in case of digital libraries. And the last one, Requirement of skilled professionals. Yes, digital libraries require experts to organize and maintain digital resources, because there are different types of data, like images will be there, audios will be there, videos will be there. So certainly there is a necessity of skilled professionals to organize and manage these digital resources. So these are the disadvantages of digital libraries. First one, it is user authentication. Whoever wants to access the digital resources, they must be in possession of a user ID and password. Then only they will be given the privilege or permission to access the digital resources. Second one, it is a high initial cost. The establishment cost of digital library is very high when compared with the traditional libraries. Next, bandwidth. Because the data is in multimedia format, text, audios, videos, images, all these things require very high data transfer rates. So that is one drawback. And if there is no internet connection, absolutely no one can make use of the services of a digital library. So entire digital library becomes inaccessible if there is no internet connectivity. And the next one, copyright. Some of the digital resources are protected by copyright, and we need to uh, follow the rules and the regulations in order to respect such copyright protected data. And last one is requirement of skilled professionals, because there are multiple types of data, audios, videos, images. So certainly there is a requirement of skilled professionals who can manage and who can organize these digital resources. So these are all the disadvantages of digital libraries.